Quest Audiobooks presents an unabridged recording of United with Dad by Simon Lloyd, narrated by Mcnulty. Introduction. The older I get, the more I question if I could have done without football. Hasn't quite reached the point where I resent it, but there are definitely times when I'll catch myself wondering what life might have been had it not been there, near constantly swallowing up more hours and days and weekends than I'll ever be able to count. I'll think about how much happier I might have been had my mood not been tied to the fortunes of a football club that, if I'm being honest, values me only as a paying customer, not a fan. I know, just as any other supporter knows, that in the grand scheme of things, football doesn't, or shouldn't, matter. This world is stuffed full of terrible things far worthier of keeping me up at night than an FA Cup fourth round defeat to Middlesbrough. Wars still happen, kids still go to bed hungry. As a species, we're continuing to ignore all the warnings about scorching our planet to the brink of inhabitability. Why then, when I know there are much bigger, much more important things to get worked up about, will I let the sight of James Ward-Prowse preparing to take a late corner in a delicately poised game make me feel sick, or send my pulse soaring to the extent that my heart might burst? It's pathetic that I've allowed myself to be so hopelessly consumed by it. There are, though, occasions in your life which, whether you like it or not, leave a mark, that set you on a certain path and contribute to who you are and what does and doesn't matter. For me, my first visit to Old Trafford was one of those occasions. Now, it would be great, for the sake of a more enthralling start to this, if I could reel off some romantic tale about the night I first saw Manchester United play. I wish I could tell you about how I was mesmerised by the scintillating attacking play, or describe the feeling I felt when the Stretford end erupted after the first goal. But, disappointingly, I can't do that. I have no such stories to tell of what, with hindsight and the watch of some grainy YouTube footage, was very clearly a miserable and largely uneventful game of football. It happened when I was 7, on a Baltic November evening in 1993. It should have been a formality. United, having scratched the 26-year itch in winning the Premier League earlier that year, were rampant, winning 8 league games on the spin and already looking good value to retain the crown. In contrast, their opponents were a struggling Ipswich Town side who had won just once since August and looked destined to be sucked into a relegation scrap in the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?